Hi, my name is Adan Hasbi, and I'd like to wish you a warm welcome to this wonderful episode on Rambling of an Analyst. In today's episode, it was really inspired by you guys, and one of the reasons why I created this episode was many people have been asking me how to invest, what to invest, how to accumulate, assets. And in this episode, I'm going to assume that we are all starting from zero and we are all going to enjoy this journey together. So I'm actually super excited. I don't know how this episode or how this particular series will continue moving forward, but I hope that with enough support and also enough feedback and enough participation from the audience, we will be able to create a wonderful journey together. Okay, so right now, right, let us assume that I'm starting from zero. What would I first do? If you ask me, I think the first thing I will definitely do is to figure out what do I really want. And over here, one of the things which I use, or one of the frameworks which I use, is this particular framework of what do I love doing, what am I good at, what are people willing to pay me for, and what the world needs at this point in time. If we can find an intersection of doing what we love, what we are good at, and what the world needs and what we get paid for, we will be the most happiest people, I guess, in planet Earth. Me especially, if I do what I like, I can spend hours and hours just doing it, and I'll be smiling, and at the same time, getting paid at the same time. How wonderful is that? So in this particular episode, we're going to talk about this framework of trying to find your passions, and let's try to monetize on our passions, right? So if I'm starting from zero, the first thing I would do is I would focus on active income. And what active income means is that for every hour I work, I will get paid for the hours which I work for. The second thing which I think is very important, besides having this particular framework, is having a reason. Okay, only with strong reasons we will get motivation, right? So imagine a wonderful plan, right? Imagine we already know what to do on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis. But having said that, without the strong reasons why, it is so difficult to move forward. Let me give you an example. So one of the reasons why I started this journey of building assets and also trying to figure out how to live off passive income was that as some of you guys may know, I used to work as an auditor. And while working as an auditor, I used to work from 8:30 in the morning, and sometimes it will be up to 2:30 or maybe 3:30 at night. And that will go on for days and days and days. And I still remember one of the saddest days of my life, which is I had to work from 8 and I had to go back at 4 a.m., take a small little nap. And if I'm not mistaken, I still remember driving to the office or driving to the client's place. And I was looking on my left or my right, I saw a mosque. And I saw people leaving the mosque, and it was 8 o'clock. So I was like, I was wondering what prayers they were having, and I realized it was either Hari Raya Haji or Hari Raya Puasa, and I was still working during that day. And I still remembered how frustrated I was, how angry I was with myself, and I knew I needed to get freedom. I knew that I did not want to um, do things which I don't quite like, and working long, crazy hours and missing important things. And from that day forward, that gave me the fuel, that gave me the motivation, and that gave me the passion to start building my passive income. In the next subsequent slides, I'll show you a little bit about how I built my passive income. So let us start way back when I was a kid, and let's use this particular framework so that we get a better understanding. So back when I was a kid, I still remembered I had zero money. I wanted to have some money, and I wanted to buy cool things like at that point in time they had this little handheld devices where you can actually play games. But back when I was a kid, it was not very common, and it was the coolest thing in the world. Being that I love computers, I love games and whatnot. And I still remember at that point in time, I had zero skills, right? Uh, yeah, so I needed to figure out what can I do to get some money, I guess. And at that point in time, I still remember asking my dad as to whether he wants his car to be washed. With that, he's willing to pay for it. And so these are the two circles that it intersected. I'm relatively good in washing cars, I guess, and I got paid for it. And yeah, so that was my first job. And I got maybe 50 ringgit per month. It's not much, but back then it was okay. So if we look at that in terms of, I guess, cash flows, over here we will see money coming in. And this is the 50 ringgit which I got on a monthly basis. And this is the small little savings which I have. And every once in a while, I would spend it on random things like mom's birthday, dad's birthday, sister's birthday, and so on and so forth. At that point in time, I had a small little ASB savings, but it was not much. Okay, so as years went on, what happened was I started building my skills. Let me show this to you in this form. So as years went on, I started building my skills. I got a degree in accounting, and yeah, I was relatively good at it, but I was not the best. So I had a degree, but I was not good at it. I didn't quite love it. So I got paid for doing for being an accountant. As I mentioned to you, I was an auditor. Yeah, at that point in time, instead of washing cars, I actually got a little bit more money. And when I got a little bit of money, then that's where I grew my savings. And as my savings grew, what happened was I invested in ASB. And this over here, this small little arrow over here signifies that I started to make passive income. Although I was focused on my job, at the same time, I remember getting another stream of income, which is my ASB dividends. And this helped further compound my savings. So the wonderful thing about this is the more I work, the more I save, it will go up as investing. And all of these small assets started to trickle down as passive income. Having said that, however, I noticed some of my friends which used to, I guess, borrow to survive on their lifestyle. At that point in time, things like what clothes we wore, what shoes we had, what car we drove, actually it was a status symbol. And I still remember some of my friends had the coolest car. And, at that point in time, I was looking at them and I was wondering to myself, why am I saving so much? They seem to be having so much of fun, but they were borrowing to live their lifestyle. And what happened was every month, they also had notice there are more red arrows over here. Every month they also had to service their loan payments. So in terms of cash flow, their cash flow was much heavier outwards as opposed to inwards. And this over here signifies that they were living off credit card debt. So for me, my savings was I guess getting bigger and bigger and bigger. For them, in terms of borrowings, yeah, they were borrowing to I guess live their life. So I guess right now, post-pandemic, what happened? For me, as many of you guys know, I actually stopped working at that point in time. But lucky for me, I had a big enough savings. And for about 1.5 years, about 18 months, yeah, I was kind of living off my savings. And on top of that, I was getting passive income via my investments. So that was relatively, it was really fun for me. So as some of you guys may know, I started my game studio and also I started this YouTube channel. But I think one of the main reasons why I also started this YouTube channel was I saw some of my friends and relatives, they were living off borrowings, and once their salary once they maybe got a pay cut or when they got let go from their job, what happened was banks were asking them to pay for their loans. At the same time, they did not have a big enough cash flow to survive. And at that point in time, I told myself, I had all the skills, I had all the knowledge. I had to just start a YouTube channel. I had a calling and I wanted to start a YouTube channel. And that's one of the reasons why you see me, I guess, creating random videos and, teaching all you guys how to, I guess, invest and also how to build a passive income. So, okay, so over here, as I mentioned to you, when I first started, I guess, my first, I guess, business post-retirement was creating a game studio. And yeah, I actually went to a co-working space and I saw this over here, me smiling. That's my game at the backdrop. This is me in a game convention over in Malaysia. On top of that, I actually explored a couple of game development studios to actually maybe build a studio. And I don't know whether you guys seen any of these slot machines, but back when I was a kid, it was like the coolest thing in the world. And I still have it in my vision board. One day I will eventually create a game studio. But as of right now, I'm teaching financial literacy. So, okay, why did I move from game development to, I guess, financial literacy? Okay, let me tell you why. Over here, I love games. I really love games, right? But I was horrible in programming. I was horrible in graphic design. I was horrible in, I think those are the two main elements for game development. If you don't know how to program and if you don't know how to, I guess, create assets for your games, yeah, that's actually a big chunk of game development. So even though I loved it, I was not good at it. So yeah, not many people were willing to pay for my game, which is understandable. But having said that, when it came to finance, I worked in the financial industry for about 20 years. I love teaching finance, as you guys can tell. And on top of that, yeah, I do get paid. Every once in a while, I get people to ask me how to help them with regards for their, I guess, with their finances or on investing. And I know that a lot of people need this particular service. So that's when I moved from game development towards teaching financial education. So, okay, this little story, what can one do? Okay, number one, this is my advice. My first advice is in terms of active income, when we do what we love and when we are good at it, there is a strong chance that a lot of people will notice how good you are at that particular skill, and that's where you can actually move up or you can get promoted very easily. At least for me, at least that was I guess at least for me that happened for me, where when I was good at something in particular, and when I guess management noticed it, I actually managed to, I guess, move through the ranks. And as some of you may know, my last designation in corporate Malaysia was vice president. And yeah, I really love what I did. And it was a wonderful circle. It was a wonderful virtual circle. So in terms of active income, do what we love, do what we love and what we are good at. Second thing which I would suggest is we start investing or we start building our passive income. Over here in this channel, I've taught you, or I've talked a lot about how to invest. But there is another type of assets where we don't have to spend that much of money in terms of investing, where we can build the assets. And as I mentioned to you before, one of the assets which I built didn't take me that much of money was building building apps. And with apps, what will happen is when people actually look at my apps, I will get advertising dollars, and that was, yeah, it was quite easy money. So it was like a dividend yielding stock, although I didn't put that much of investment in that particular asset. The second thing which I've done in terms of building my assets was also I'm teaching online. So right now, as you can tell, I am on YouTube. On top of that, I also teach online. That is another way for us to build assets. The more courses that we build, the more our passive cash flow we will enjoy a more of a passive cash flow. So what we want eventually is enough assets whereby we don't have to work, and the savings will increase and increase and increase. So I guess in conclusion, what I have to say is these are the following which I have to say before I end this episode. Number one, in terms of active income, we always, I guess, once we already have money coming in on a monthly basis, try to save some of that money. And with that savings, we can try to invest in assets. That way, we can compound our returns, or we can continue increasing our returns more and more and more. The second thing which I want to say is we do not necessarily need to invest in assets, we can also build assets. One of the ways for us to build assets is we can maybe, for me, I build online courses and I also build phone apps. If you're interested in learning how to build online courses, click at the link below. There is a free class with regards to how to build your online courses. On top of that, I guess the final advice I have to tell you is in terms of learning to save, we need to limit our expenses. And this is where budgeting is important. So if we budget our expenses enough, we can grow this particular gray box. And also, I like to say, I also have a budgeting course. All of these courses are free. Yeah, I hope to, I guess, see you guys in the next episode. And with that, take care. And if you have any questions with regards to this, please do ask me. I'll be more than happy to help you guys. With that, take care.